Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining me every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do share it with your friends and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. Jaydev joins me on this special day, which is to celebrate Sushant Singh's birthday. Welcome, Jaydev.
Good evening to all the viewers, and once again, today is a wonderful day. Celebrating the great Sushant Singh Rajput's birthday today, and we really hope that justice will be served in his case as soon as possible.
And also remember that his name is trending on, on Twitter.
On Twitter, yes.
So whoever's mentioning him or talking about him or writing about him, uh, we are all a huge force. They may be separate, but we are all together in thought. So starting with, let's start this day. Today is a special, very special day as we celebrate his birthday. To an actor who entertained many and was a very kind soul, a Shiva Bhakt, but he died the most gruesome death under the hands of certain Bollywood people, politicians and underworld, activists, media, PR, who are also involved in it. In fact, Bollywood chose to forget him the day he died, after putting a standard media post like "you'll be missed," which is why they will unlikely to do anything to mark his birth anniversary today, January 21st. 19 months after his untimely death, none seem to have wanted a thorough inquiry into his death or questioned why the investigation remains open. Some accused him of taking drugs, but none have come forward to start any kind of anti drug campaign. Some accused him of depression, none of which were true. He was too intelligent a man to give in easily to such emotions or drugs. His diary has proved that he knew the inside out of the ugly, sleazy side of Bollywood. He has exposed many of them in his diary, how they have used him to move forward. Bollywood forgets personalities like him because they shine a mirror into the ugly side of Bollywood. That is why the fraternity probably wanted to quickly move on after Sushant died, like it has done countless times across the decades in the case of Divya Bharati, Parveen Babi, Sri Devi, Jia Khan, etc. They didn't want to remember the opportunities he was robbed of and how badly the industry let him down during his most difficult times. But those left deeply affected by his death haven't let that happen. They turned the tragedy into a reckoning. And these are the SSRians, the true SSRians, who have, through their various platforms in YouTube and social media, remembered him today with love and continue to fight for his justice. We, on our part, on Candid Meena, and our family have written a second letter to the Prime Minister of India and the Supreme Court, Judge Sri Ramanna. I'm sure they cannot ignore the voices of millions who want to know whether he will get justice and whether they can put a closure to this finally. Thank you, friends, for joining me live. Please log in to the link and express your thoughts for him. I'm just leaving the line open so that you can join us. Meanwhile, we are showing you pictures of him as a child, as well as his mother, his father. Yes, this is the link. Friends, please join and let us go live. And please give your wishes. Whatever you want to say, to Sushant and to the SSRians, please join us and do so. Yamini says, "Happy birthday, dear superstar SSR." Good evening to everybody. Jayashri, happy birthday, dear Sushant. Missing you. Kalpana says, okay, this is not relevant with that. Happy birthday to your dearest Sushant Singh, lost a great gem, says Lina Gaswell. Sushmita says, happy birthday, SSR. Vinny, I can only pray for you, SSR. Lina says, hello, Meena, Safin Deepthi, and all the CM family. Good evening to you all. Love people. Sylvia, we missed you. Dear Sushant, we know that you are in a better abode than we are now and know that you are happier there. However, all of us here feel your absence and await your absence and await your justice. Sylvia, until then, we don't think it would be right to wish you happy birthday, though you would be happy there. It would be a happy moment only when you get your justice. Rochelle, good evening, Meena and Saffron. Nice to listen to you speak. Thank you. Okay, let me join. Let me add Deepika. Welcome, Deepika.
Thank you, Meena ji. Hi, first of all, and you are doing a great job. Actually, I was following the sessions since last year,
Yeah.
so very much overwhelmed. And happiest birthday to our favorite
To
superstar
our
Sushant.
favorite superstar Sushant.
Yeah.
And our heart, we
And
can say.
we can say,
One second. Let me just mute.
one second, let me just,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, please.
yeah, please.
Deepika?
Yes, I was
Yeah.
saying that we should just wish that we would get justice.
Yeah.
Although
Absolutely.
that is very much difficult, I know.
Mm.
Thank you, Meena ji.
Thank you, Deepika. Welcome, Shobha.
Namaste, ma'am. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Fine, thank you.
Happy birthday to Sushant.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Ma'am, as promised, I have come here to sing a song for Sushant.
Yeah.
Okay, my throat is bad, but I'll try singing. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, ma'am.
Meanwhile, just 1 minute,
Well,
Shobha.
just 1 minute, Shobha.
Yes, ma'am.
Anuradha, your devices are not
Radha,
connected. Please
your
connect your
devices are
device.
not connected. Connect your device.
Yes, please continue, Shobha.
Yes, please continue, Shobha.
Shall I sing, ma'am?
Yeah, please, please.
Yeah, please.
Thank you. तू आता है सीने में जब जब सांसें भरती हूँ तेरे दिल की गलियों से मैं हर रोज गुजरती हूँ हवा के जैसे चलता है तू मैं रेत जैसी उड़ती हूँ कौन तुझे यूं प्यार करेगा जैसे मैं करती हूँ हाँ 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 मेरी नजर का सफर तुझ पे ही आके रुके कहने को बाकी है क्या कहना था जो कह चुकी मेरी निगाहें तेरी निगाहों की तुझे खबर क्या बेखबर मैं तुझसे ही छुप छुप कर तेरी आंखें पढ़ती हूँ कौन तुझे यूं प्यार करेगा जैसे मैं करती हूँ हाँ 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 तो जो मुझे आ मिला सपने हुए सर फेरे हाथों में आते नहीं उड़ते हैं लम्हे मेरे मेरी हंसी तुझसे मेरी खुशी तुझसे तुझे खबर क्या बेखबर जिस दिन तुझको ना देखूं पागल पागल फिरती हूँ कौन तुझे यूं प्यार करेगा जैसे मैं करती हूँ हाँ 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 Thank you.
Thank you, Shobha. That was
Thank you,
really
Shobha.
beautiful. And welcome, Sangeeta and Anuradha. I thought it was beautiful, Shobha, beautiful rendition. And I'm sure wherever Sushant is, he'll be
Wherever
very
Sushant
happy
is,
to hear
he'll
your
be
voice.
very happy to hear your voice.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I'll be in the backstage, okay? Thank you so much for the
Okay.
opportunity.
Thank you,
Oh,
Shobha.
thank you.
Yeah, Sangeeta.
Hi, namaste,
Sangeeta is
Meena
another
ji.
beautiful
Hi,
singer.
Namaste, Meena. Another beautiful singer.
And yeah, Sangeeta. Yeah,
That was beautifully sung by Shobha, one of my favorite songs
yeah.
of SSR. So made us all very emotional. What a great opening to the show.
And thank you,
Um,
Sangeeta. I know that you usually are very busy, but you took the time to come and be with us. And Anuradha, thank you so much.
I wouldn't
no,
have
of course,
missed
I
it.
had to be here today. And, like I say, mm, uh, Sushant's passing has affected a lot of us in many different ways.
Yes.
And, one of them being that I used to be a huge movie buff. I still don't understand when I look back as to why I was watching, because it's a very below mediocre, crass content that we've been served for so many
Yeah,
years. Yet, I
exactly.
was such a movie buff. I used to watch all these movies, and it's been a 180 for me since all the everything's been exposed about the industry that I've completely stopped watching Bollywood.
Yeah,
Absolutely, since June 14, 2020, complete
yeah,
boycott. So, and I think my life's better for it because I have so much more time to read and watch better things.
yeah,
And I joined Twitter for this movement, and so I feel like Candid Me in a family. I became part of it because of SSR. We made so many great connections because of this movement. I've made some amazing friends
yeah.
because of this movement. So I kind of
Absolutely.
owe that all to Sushant, and come across so many like-minded people. So I had to be here today. It's his birthday. We keep praying and fighting for his justice,
Yeah,
and we won't ever give up.
yeah.
And I just tell everyone who's part of this movement, thank you, because it's, I think, a very handful of YouTubers and journalists like you, Meenaji, and his fans
Thank
who
you.
have kept this movement alive.
Yeah,
And we'll keep fighting for him. So again, thank you for doing what you do and keeping Sushant's memory alive and giving us all a chance to participate in that. Thank you.
thank you, Sangeeta. Yeah, Anuradha,
Yes, namaste.
you're
Firstly,
welcome.
as Sangeeta said, are you
So
able
let me
to
just
hear
give
me?
you, friends, let me just give you a brief about Anuradha. She's a lovely teacher who teaches, especially gifted children. And she also, draws very well. She's an artist. She writes beautiful poems. And she's a lovely human being. Just like Sangeeta, Sangeeta is also very multifaceted. She's a movie maker as well. And of course, we have Savitri also, who's joined us. Welcome to all you lovely ladies.
Thank you so much, Meena. Yes, I am in very august company. I hope you're able to hear me.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll just take a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I remember the day when it was in June, if I'm not mistaken. I had my summer holidays, and I was just going through the news, and suddenly in the afternoon, this news flashed that Sushant Singh has, taken his life by
Yeah.
suicide. And I remember looking at it, and my son came from the other room. He's because my son also liked him very much, having seen Kai Poche, and he said, "Did you know that Sushant?" I said, it's not adding up. He's taken his life. And then I remember telling my son, last week I remember reading that the lady who used to be his secretary,
Yeah.
Disha, also, she fell to her death.
Mm.
And he said, "Oh, that's strange." And I remember from then, and of course the newspapers and the media kept saying it was, a suicide and it was depression. But this, the fact that Disha had died a week earlier. It just kept playing in my mind, and and they always say that if things are not adding up, it's because
Yeah.
truth is not a part of the equation, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, and then and then of course the truth began to come out, and a few YouTube tubers and journalists like you began to take it up, and I joined this movement because I believe really there are a couple of quotes about justice that I would like to. One of them is that justice delayed is justice denied.
Yeah.
And, also another one that justice will not be served. I think this is Martin Luther King Jr. Justice will not be served until those who are not directly affected by the injustice are as outraged as those who are affected
Absolutely.
directly. So whether, today it is Sushant, tomorrow it could be another youngster. I have two sons who are, who are just about Sushant's age. We all have youngsters going out into the world, and today it is in maybe the movie industry, but it's, this problem is spreading everywhere. And unless we stand up as one, and unless we speak, you know if not us, then who? If not now, then when? And I remember this, I was reading about Sushant, and I remember this famous quote by Mary Lou Angelou that said, some people once, they have existed forever, their echoes remain in the world, and we have to be better because they existed. And I think Sushant's loss is tragic beyond words, because it was so unnecessary, and because it was so brutal. And as Sangeeta also said, and many others have said, that I forever stopped watching a particular genre of Bollywood movies. I may still watch an Irfan Khan once in a while, but I stopped because I just can't get myself to watch movies from an industry that has uh, done very little to secure justice for
Yes.
Sushant. And I do believe that one day justice must be done. And more power to you, Meena, and journalists like you, and more power to every citizen who's standing up to raise their voices. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you, Anu. Well, thank you so much. Yes, Savitri?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Savitri, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Been missing your this, but I always catch up later. Something comes up at 8 o'clock, then I'm out. Like now, this is a day, oh, horrible day. But I tell you frankly, after this last 2020, April, May, at least in Bombay, severe lockdown started. Only after that, I started going into this YouTube and all, because literally all were in jail.
Yeah.
Sabke ghar mein sab the, and all of us. That is how I took interest. And sincerely, even Sushant, Divine Atma is there. I was not a big fan of him or
Yeah.
something. My mummy used to watch his all serials.
Yeah.
She used to love him, and the day he died, she was upset. She said, "How can this boy get, kill himself?" Then slowly, I started watching your serials and so many, YouTubers. I came to know the gutterhood, and I felt very bad. I was thinking, why this boy left that engineering and came to this? He must have been such a great scientist, but anyway, that is, destiny. So today I don't know he's alive or he's dead, but I'm sure emotionally, he is alive, and his divine Atma will be there, because till he gets justice, he is not going to live in peace. He's not going to leave these crooks in peace. So at the
Absolutely.
end, I would say, तुम जिए हजारों साल साल के दिन हो 50,000, and you will continue forever, Sushant. Happy birthday from this elder sister, like 50 plus. Love you, Meena. More power to
Thank you.
you and all of you, rocking. Lovely ladies. Okay, bye
Thank you so
bye.
much.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, bye
Yeah.
bye.
Sangeeta, I was wishing that you would also sing a song. You've got such a beautiful voice.
When Shobha started thinking that, I said it was my favorite song, but um, not only is singing live and unplugged not my cup of tea, but today being a very emotional day, I think I will break down. So
Yeah.
I promise to sing in a future episode, but today I know that I will break down. Even when she was singing,
Yeah.
I was almost breaking down. So
Yeah. I've
yeah,
started in small thanks to all this lockdown.
yeah.
In school days, long back we were singing. I said, start
See,
living.
what is
Oh
amazing,
God, let's make.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, what is amazing, ladies, is that, see, Sushant Singh is trending today on Twitter. Okay. It is so strange that he's been gone, for so almost a year and about
2 years, huh?
19 months, let's say 19 months.
19.
And still, look
Yeah.
at the presence he has, not only in our minds, but on social media. And you can imagine how angry Bollywood would be to see that their
Yeah.
movies are
Right.
being boycotted.
Yeah.
And here is a
Yeah.
man who's
Right.
not there and yet still shining like a star, in front of us. His
That's
presence
because he
cannot
is
be
the
forgotten.
chosen one, no? Divine soul.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
I'm so happy for this Bollywood. I mean, all those big stars got I can't stand them.
Yeah.
Imagine I was watching Big Boss in 19 and even Siddharth Shukla, I feel uska bhi aisa hi kuch hua hoga. My heart goes out
yes.
that young boy also.
And now there's another death as well. Remo D'Souza's brother-in-law committed suicide. It's very strange
Is
because
it?
that chap is only
Oh, I
43
didn't.
years old, and they
My
say
God.
that he committed suicide. I mean, it's shocking. I know that Remo is a part of the Salman Khan gang, but this came as a total shock for me.
Oh God, what's happening?
So let me just read out a few points. KB says, bang on, Sagita. I too felt similarly. It was just adding up on 14 June 2020. Now we know the facts. Thanks to many SSR warriors, including you, Meena. Thank you, Mrs. Srinivasan. Tum jiyo hazar saal.
Thank you.
Lavinia.
हम
Lavinia, you
सब
should
छोटे
join
थे.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, join us. You can take us in the backseat, bring them. No one.
No, no, please be there because
Yeah, yeah.
you're
Okay,
like a
okay.
backbone for us. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sunanda
yeah.
says, yes, it's all because of someone like Meena ma'am and the justice for SSR movement is still alive. Here, Sunanda, I'd like to tell you that, see, we are all together in this. It's not a single person's fight. And also, I must say that, see, though all these YouTubers you see who are, who don't get along with the others, today, whoever has stood in on behalf of SSR, and
Yeah.
done, whatever the tribute they have to this man, I tell you that, see, thank you for that. Because it doesn't matter if you're doing it individually or as a group.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing for SSR is important. And you could be any YouTuber or any social media person. If you have done your bit, thank you for that.
Today we should all have a common, motive, common
Yes,
this, that
yes,
he should get justice, irrespective of what you believe, whether he's
yeah,
dead, he's alive, blah blah. आज
yeah,
का दिन तो, and I think we all should pray to Shiva. He was a big devotee.
yes,
I had Mahamrityunjay. I was thinking the other day I'll write to you. All of us
yes,
do a small 5-10 minutes.
yeah,
फिर दिल से दिमाग से निकल गया.
yes. Tensi says, so shocking to see Ria wishing him and Hindustan Times publishing it. What kind of newspaper is that? First of all, a lot of the media is paid media, Tenzi, and what Ria says or does will not, cover up for the fact, of what she has done to our hero. Okay, so it's not going to whitewash what she has done or what Ankita Lokande has done or many of the others have done. So it's all coming out. And now, since the SSRians are so bold and they are fighting this, slowly the sisters are also coming out. Because today I saw some message from Meetu saying that, see, she trusts Prime Minister and others to give, a wise decision. But I would have, on my part, said that the sisters would have been better off if they had approached the Supreme Court to question, the CBI as to why they have delayed the case. They are the
Yeah,
best
Meena.
people.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to be judgmental, but it's something like fishy. She's a Supreme Court advocate,
Yes.
Priyanka. So this is not done, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something
Absolutely.
is fishy there. Something is
Yes.
terribly fishy in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's another girl called Debashri. She wanted me to read out a message because she is having COVID. So she said, I've already bought two shirts, t-shirts, which you used to wear. Despite an art student, now I know the meaning of photon and double slit. But I have done everything when you are not alive. Sorry, Sushant. And she also says, I'd never seen your videos, but now every day I'm searching your videos. Sorry, Sushant. I had only seen Dhoni and Kedarnath when you were alive, but now I've seen all your movies. This is Devashri, and she wanted me to convey this message because she is having COVID and she couldn't come, online.
Such a beautiful message.
Yeah.
We wish you well. Get
Yeah.
well soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's interesting. She says that I remember I was never, I never watched those Saas Bahu serials, so I didn't know about Sushant debuting in such a popular soap. But I watched obviously him in Kai Poch and very impressive. But I remember being a sports person, I went to watch Dhoni. I walked in because I was a sports freak and Dhoni fan too at the time. But I really walked out being a huge Sushant Singh fan. His performance in Dhoni, I forgot all about Dhoni. It was like Sushant Singh was Dhoni. So, and it's just, it's incredible.
Tell
The
me,
impact he has had
Sangeeta.
on all of us.
Yeah. Tell me, Sangeeta, see, during this year and a half, what are your feelings? I mean, not only about Sushant, we're also talking about people like Disha, Jia Khan, Janvi Kukreja. What are the feelings that you feel, both as a woman and as a mother?
It's heartbreaking to hear them. When I've seen their interviews on your channel with Rabia ji and Nidhi ji, I mean, it's to even fathom what they are going through. I cannot I can even imagine what they're going through as a mother myself. And I feel because of the connect we all had with Sushant, because so many people have lost their lives, but it's Sushant, because of Sushant, this has all come to light. Like,
Yeah, and
it's like
change it.
this can of worms that keeps on opening, and more names and more cases. It's heartbreaking, it's gut wrenching to see that they're still waiting for justice.
Yes.
I mean, what is it going to take for the mothers to get justice? And for years they have been fighting. So it just breaks my heart, and more power to them, and I hope we can support them in whatever way possible.
Yeah. Anu, see, it's also, see, one thing is that, see, many of people have just moved on and they tell us that we are crazy to be still stuck in this, thinking that like a broken record, we are still continuing for this fight for Sushant. Okay. Can you describe the people who are SSRians who have still not given up, despite the fact that, see, it's been a long time?
So let me just try and put my thoughts together. I think that the people who've not given up are those for whom justice for a pure being, for a pure soul like Sushant and many others like him, Disha and Janvi and Jia Khan, justice matters. And, it doesn't matter if there are very few of us, but we will not give up because this matter is far too important. We cannot give up. We owe it to those who've lost their lives so brutally. We owe it to their, families who are fighting all alone. This is the very least that we can do. You and I may not be able to go to the court like Rabia ji has gone, or Janvi Kukreja's mother is, going to the police station, to the courts. We may not be able to do that, right? But this is the very least we can do, because it can happen to anybody. It could be you, me, our family members tomorrow. And, if you don't, you've got to stand up and you've got to have the courage to speak up and have your voice counted. So I think while at times feel we do feel disheartened, we do feel upset, angry, enraged at the injustice that we see, and yet we're not willing to give up. And even, I'll say this, even if it's a lost battle, we will still plod on until the very end, until we see justice. I think that's the very least that we can do for all of these children, really, for want of, they were all very, very young when they passed away, and so brutally. And for what? The other day I was reading that Sushant was so much into science, and he spoke so beautifully, and very often he was castigated as being somebody who's abnormal and who's strange. And then you see so-called actors who are more PR driven celebrities wearing very weird clothes, you know whom I'm talking about. And that is normal, right? But Sushant, talking about science and talking about photons and what looking through a telescope, that's abnormal. Is that the kind of world that we want? Is that the kind of world that we want our children, accepting as normal? Definitely not. I think we owe it to each one of us in society who's also, there are so many people who are seen as misfits, who are seen as different, I think we owe it to those who've lost their lives. And
Yes.
if we want a better society, if we want a society that is more compassionate and that is more inclusive and that
Yes.
is cleaner, definitely, without drugs and without everything else, I mean, we can't just wish it. It's not going to happen. We've got to fight for it. And
Yes.
every one
Absolutely.
of us has got to fight for it. And you can do it because you've got a bigger, you've got a bigger platform. But I know it's not easy, right, Meena? It must be incredibly tough. You have to, there are so many naysayers around. And, smaller independent media doesn't get financed so easily. It would be very easy to go the TRP way and choose topics that could get you sponsors. So
Yes.
it's not
Absolutely.
easy. So
Yeah.
I think each one of us in our limited way, whether it's through letters or whether it's through tweeting, but we cannot let the world forget that
Mm.
these lovely people lived and they died brutally. And we've got to keep on. And I know that this group of however many people across the world, we will continue fighting this battle.
Yeah.
Hmm. I
Yes.
agree.
So
And
well said, Anu.
to add to that line where to
Yes.
summarize,
Savitri.
Anu
Yeah.
said, we don't want to wait till, like, we have to change that mindset. Uh, you
Sangeeta.
know,
Yeah.
whatever happens to one of us, it better be the business of all of us. There's a saying, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So we
Yes.
can't wait. Oh well, it's not personally affected me. We can't think like that. And yes, absolutely, I second everything you said about Meena
Yes.
ji and her channel. And I just think it's okay, even if it's less. It's called the tiny but mighty team. So she has a very, she's leading this, and
Powerhouse.
yeah, exactly,
And you
she's a
know that
powerhouse.
beautiful, that again, it's Martin Luther King who said, injustice anywhere is a threat and a slap on the face of justice everywhere.
Yes.
Right.
And that famous where they say that they came for the socialists. I was not a socialist, so I did
Yeah.
not speak up. Then they came for the Jews. I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was nobody left to speak.
Absolutely.
Mm, mm.
So I think it's just the right thing to do.
Yeah. So
Uh,
Savitri.
Hello.
Savitri.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Please.
just want to ask any idea where can we expect any moment? If so, when?
See, one thing I can tell you, friends, Sangeeta, Anu, and Savitri, is that see these letters that you've sent me have all gone by registered post to both the Prime Minister as well as the Supreme Court Judge, Mr. Ramanna. Now they cannot ignore it because these are registered letters, and also the fact that this is the second letter we've sent to the Prime Minister of India. Now, see, they will have to pull up the Supreme, not the what do you call the CBI, and find out what is the delay. And it's only because of the boldness that we are showing that the sisters are also trying to, say something. Because earlier we all got the feeling that they were either scared or they were threatened or they didn't care a damn. So we didn't know which of these three was happening to them. But today I saw that, see, one of the sisters was on Ujwal's, somebody told me on Ujwal's channel. Another sister, Mitu, was tweeting. So it's very important that the sisters come in the forefront and approach the Supreme Court. So when we say that your voices are coming in small bits, no, your voices are like a storm. Now I feel some sort of a conclusion is going to come because people cannot take it anymore. And when elections come, this is the first thing that they're going to see: what happened to justice. you know
आपके
and
मुंह में
justice.
घी शक्कर.
Thank you. Thank you, Savitri. But
Okay,
yeah.
I think I'll just take a. I'm in the show. I have to. My son is hungry. I have to
Yeah.
just
How old is
take
he?
off.
How old is he?
He's I mean 20 now. Like he'll
Okay.
be 20 next week.
Oh,
This is
okay.
what I wanted to say. June 14th. I
Yeah.
think he was in 12th. He just gave up April, and then May, June, July was severe lockdown in Bombay.
Yeah.
And June 14, I think around 12:45, 1 o'clock, TV flashed with this sad news.
Yes.
And I didn't even bother. And my husband was saying, I first initially, honestly, I thought must be, all this big show off. They'll want this party live. They do it. But
Yeah.
next day, my husband showed me the photo. He said, see, his legs are looks like it's broken. Why
Yeah.
would he, Then
Yeah.
slowly I got into this case. Initially, I didn't think only about all this,
Yes.
all this film stars and all
Yes.
that.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Savitri.
Yeah, bye bye, and all the best to you.
Yeah.
Hats off to
Thank you
you,
so
Meena
much.
and Jaydev also.
Thank you. Thank you.
And our Dipti. She's
Yes.
not there today.
Yeah, she's supposed to join us. She was
Oh,
caught with
very good.
something. She said she'll come,
Okay,
and
okay.
also Saprin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Back to you,
okay,
Anu.
okay.
Yeah.
Bye bye. Yeah.
Meena ji,
Bye.
As she's
I
been,
don't want to
when I
hog the space. Do you want me to go backstage so other people can join?
Pardon? Pardon?
I said I don't want to hog the space here. Do you want me to go
No,
backstage
no,
so
no.
other
Please,
people
please be
can?
there. Please be there.
You
so
can
I
kick us
was
out.
Welcome,
thinking,
welcome to dear Nisha, who's been a very active SSRian, and also the fact that she's been posting very, very vicious tweets about the SSR case, and not only the SSR case, also about the other cases involving Janvi and Jia Kukreja.
Mm.
Welcome, Nisha. Please, we are so happy to have you with us.
Hi, Meena. Can you hear me? Because I
Yes,
don't know
yes, we can hear
how
yes,
you.
loud. Okay, first of all, hi, Meena. Hi, Sangeeta. Hi, Anu. Hi, everybody. Where's
Yeah,
Jaydev today?
Jaideep decided to go because he wanted to give space to the ladies.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, just a short thing. Happy birthday, Sushant, first of all. You are a
That's it.
beautiful soul.
Yeah.
Now, since we can't nowadays even trust the teleprompter,
Yeah.
nor do I trust myself to not goof up, I have written a small little message. I
Please,
cannot be
please.
any more eloquent than what Anu and everybody has already said. So I've
No,
just
you are. You are
written
one
it.
of the most eloquent people, Nisha. We know all how you write. Please go ahead.
No, no. So I said, like, for all those of us who adore SSR, he still lives on. I did not say he is alive, no agenda. I said he lives on as a memory and as a huge emotion. That's why people across the globe are standing together in our fight to justice for SSR. It's over a year and a half now, and we are standing where we first started, with only silence from the government and the agencies. But let's tell them we are not planning to give up till
Yeah.
we get an answer. Boycott Bollywood. I mean, I have never been a person who watched any Bollywood movies, anyways, and I didn't even know of Sushant's existence until the day I saw his picture. And any layman knows that's not a suicide. I was convinced.
Yeah.
And that's when I started reading up about him and I realized what a beautiful soul we lost. And for what? For somebody's whim. Parents educate their children. My daughter is just 2 years younger to Sushant.
Yeah.
You bring up your children with so much of dreams and hopes. You live
Yeah.
their dreams only for some goons to come in
Yeah.
and
And take them
manhandle
away.
and brutally murder them. And
Yes.
people around the world, are standing together for what? Because they're all anguished mothers, or
Yes.
anguished fathers, or elders who don't want this to happen to their children.
Yeah.
It's high time everybody stopped saying, oh, okay, I mean, so what? It's only one. There are so many. Yeah, for all the beautiful souls, who's got the right to kill somebody else?
Yeah.
So it's,
Disha, here I'll tell you one incident. See, not only are we pursuing these cases, we're also talking about the injustice done elsewhere. You remember the Dilip case, Dilip case and the Franco, Bishop Franco. So when I
yes,
was speaking about that in Twitter, somebody told me that, see, how do you know this is true and how do you know that is true? So I told him, with all the facts that have come out, we know exactly what is true and what is not true. Okay. And if you want, if you feel that people will be quiet, you know, you're wrong. Because till these cases get justice, we will keep on pushing all the criminals' faces, on social media.
yes,
Okay. For example, Nisha, Sangeeta, and Anu, remember when we did the Boni case, the Sri Devi
yeah,
case?
yeah,
Okay. Deepti did that in detail. And the next day,
yeah,
Boni was posting images of lovey-dovey pictures of him and Sri Devi. Now he's done it again. Okay.
yeah,
Because these people are scared.
yeah,
When Deepti talks, she has proof. You
yeah,
see, she has proof of what's happened, and she's been fighting this case. So it means that these people who are doing all this crime are actually scared of the people
yeah.
who are fighting. for justice.
Yeah.
You see? So whatever you are doing in a small or a bigger way, it's all having the right effect.
Yeah, we're at least moving forward with a belief
Yes.
that,
Yes.
things will change.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you, Meena, for actually keeping us all together. And you're doing it's such a big effort, and we know how it is. And when all of us herding us all together and getting it done and keeping us updated, and it's a whole lot of effort from all of you. And I really hope and pray that by the time I come back to India, we can all get together and really do
Yes.
something more,
Yeah.
a positive change for
Absolutely.
this world. And in the meantime,
In
Bollywood
fact,
has always
Nisha, I would
remained.
like to, Nisha,
Yeah,
I'd like to tell everybody.
yeah.
See, Nisha is not only a wonderful mother, a wonderful wife, a grandmother, and she is, the biggest plus point about her is that she's a brilliant gardener. Okay, and she actually has a WhatsApp group of, I don't know, thousands of people who take advice from her, including me. Now I've also started growing things, and I'm actually depending on Nisha to give me some tips here and there. So see, all these women, you're seeing Sangeeta there, you're seeing Anu, all of them are brilliant people, and all the people who are putting messages, all of you, thank you, you intelligent souls, who are fighting for this kind of justice. I mean, all of us together make a very strong hand, and that's what we all need. Yes, Nisha, you were saying something.
Yeah, I was just going to say my last sentence because everybody else has said everything, and I leave some for others also to tell. I just said Bollywood will always remain faceless and meaningless
Yeah,
forever. They've
absolutely.
always been that way, and that's how they will continue.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anu,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you so much,
I'll
Nisha.
go backstage, Meena.
No, remain, Nisha, remain there.
Okay.
If someone comes,
Thank
I'll
you,
tell you.
Nisha.
Okay.
Nisha, and you said it so well. Sushant was killed so brutally, and he was fighting. He was killed for what? Because he was fighting for a cleaner. He was trying to clean up the system, and he paid such a heavy price. So I think the least that we citizens can do is to speak up in our own little way. And I find that it is getting. I will not say it's getting cleaned up, but it's begun, and we are
Yeah.
continuing Sushant's work.
Yes.
Bollywood, the certain genre of movies, the so-called PR driven stars, they've all fallen by the wayside. Movie collections have dipped. Okay, they're not getting advertisements. These are big victories, and they've been achieved because of course, journalists like you and citizens' voices, which have come and they've now become a roar. And I do believe that we are carrying on the work that Sushant started. I've written a few lines. I've just written them. If you give me a
Please,
moment, I'll read them
please.
out.
Yeah, please.
Sushant, now that you're
Yeah.
gone, here's what we want to say. We will fight for justice, even as you walk on God's way. You're gone now, way, way afar, yet forever we see you, a real rock star.
Yeah, very good. Beautiful.
So much for the so-called Bollywood stars. I think people like Sushant are the real stars, and he's just brought people together, and he's making it a more beautiful world. And yet I think it's a terrible price that has
He
been
paid.
paid.
The funny thing, Anu, see, you've spoken beautifully on that. Thank you for that. The amazing thing is that through his diary, he has exposed so much of the crime and the sleaze that, is behind what happens in Bollywood. He's also spoken about the people who have trampled all over him, to reach wherever they have reached. Okay. Today, people are just using his name. If you look at people like Ankita Lokande, you look at people like Ria and others, they're just using his name to, catapult themselves into films. Now, see, you cannot become successful just like that. You become successful when you have talent and you're a pure soul. Sushant had a pure soul. He helped people, and he was doing so many things for humanity. And that's why he succeeded. It's not just merely on looks that you get into Bollywood and succeed and become a star. He has clearly said that, and that's why none of the Nepo stars, shine. You look at, I was watching this Malayalam movie, Lion of the Arabian Sea. You had Mohanlal's son in that. First of all, you don't notice him. He can't act for nuts. And then you have other children. Priyadarshan's daughter. Everybody's daughter and son is there in that movie. And then you watch a small budget movie with small actors, and they all are so good. But they're not backed by the underworld. So it's very
I think
important that
yeah.
we, encourage small filmmakers. Yes, Sangeeta?
No, you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I was
Absolutely.
talking about because you're also into movie making. So I was just saying that small movie makers should be encouraged to make good films
Well,
with good content.
we have so many great ideas. As you know, you are one yourself, and we want to highlight the culture and all the good India has, because and then you see some of their budgets when you read in the news. I mean, I don't watch these movies anymore from Bollywood, but you read like a 250 crore budget, and I'm like, how? And here, as an independent filmmaker, we have to struggle. If I have to make a documentary, I probably don't even need a percentage of that, but I have to struggle, and I have like 3 scripts written down,
Yeah,
but I'm struggling for the finance because I keep making out of pocket, and there's a limit to how much I can do out
exactly.
of pocket. So it's this imbalance. And
Yeah,
after spending with all that budget, when you see the kind of products they come out with, it's crass, it's vulgar, it's not highlighting, if anything, it's bashing our culture, it's not teaching any good values. So it just feels like so unfair. But I feel justice will prevail when it will. I'm hoping that the government, that the CBI and everybody will do what they're supposed to do, and justice will prevail for Sushant and all the other cases. But in the meantime, I think of myself as an individual. What little difference can I make, even if it's a drop in the ocean? Then I say that if I stop watching what they are serving, be it OTT or on the big screen, then I'm making that small dent, however
yeah.
small that dent is. Because at the end of the day, for them, it is all about the ROI. It's the return on their investment. And so stop watching them.
See, Sangeeta, this is the
Yes.
same thing that I had. I was funding my own films and documentaries, and
Yeah.
then I decided that I can't, keep on investing in my own films because I'll go broke.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
almost did.
and I had to stop.
Yeah.
So it's sad. It's a sad state.
Yeah.
Without the government deciding to help people like us, I mean, we're not going to make any films. And the people, for example, I recently read that Akshay and another actor are getting, a jump in their salaries, which is more than, I don't know, 200, 300, 400 crores. Okay. Now, where is this money coming from? You can't
Yeah.
even fund a small budget movie, and you talk about crores on a person like these are grandfathers.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're talking about Akshay and the Khans, they are
Yeah.
actually so old; they are grandfathers. I mean,
Yeah.
do you want to pay money to see these grandfathers on your films, or TV shows?
We
So
know where the
I
money is coming
yes,
from,
yeah, yeah,
right?
and
yeah. As you said, funding, and also when you talked about the government, I rarely make political comments, but I'm still grappling with, the national awards given to recently. It was in the news, the national awards given to Karan Johar and Ekta Kapoor. I'm still grappling. I mean, national award for what? If you wanted to award, people in the movie industry, there are many, many independent, small filmmakers. There are very talented actors. I'm still wondering what were these awards for? And I think that day there was a sense of being disheartened, with everything that has been in the news.
Mhm.
But then I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and you've just got
Mickey,
to,
yeah,
yeah.
Mickey is saying around the world are sending messages to Bollywood. You will fall. We will make it so. Sushant will stand tall in the eyes of many, and you, Bollywood, will be a speck of dust that will be brought to nothing. And even today, I heard the news that some other movie has been pushed, to the background because they say that it's because of COVID. It's not because of COVID. It's because of Sushant's spirit. Sushant's spirit has made sure that all of us will have to cleanse Bollywood,
Yes.
to make sure that, any movies become a hit. See, in the South, there's still COVID in the South as well, but Allu Arjun's movies are becoming a hit. Okay, so why is that?
Yeah.
And now there's another movie of Unni Mukundan in Kerala, which is a super
Yes.
hit. Okay, so it's not COVID. Bollywood, please don't tell us that, because we don't want to watch you. It's a fact
Yeah.
because of what you did to Sushant. And I'm not talking about Sushant. Sushant symbolizes many others whom you have said it's suicides, but actually are murders.
And besides the brutality, it's also how the ecosystem kind of came together to,
Yes,
protect their
to
own.
support.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes,
I think that was, I think, the eye opener for so many of us, And yeah, as you said, Bollywood, I mean, that genre of Bollywood, I know there are many hardworking people, and I mean, the film industry does support many, many careers. So it's not to take away from the honest and the hardworking, but that genre, that section, that ecosystem will implode. It has to implode.
absolutely. Karthik says, wishing our hero SSR a wonderful birthday. Hope you're cutting a delicious cake in heaven with your mom. So beautiful. Yeah, Nisha, would you like to say something?
Thank you, Meena. I think I will go backstage. I think Meera is also there
Yes, I
backstage.
would also like to go backstage, Veena.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we're just going to close in a few minutes. So
Sure,
continue.
sure.
When somebody comes, I'll let you know.
Okay, just
Okay.
kick us out.
Let
Okay,
the
Meena?
conversation go, keep going, because all of you are, contributing valuably to this session. So whatever you have to say, please say it, and let us make this day even more special for Sushant. So one thing I'll tell you is that, see, Sushant, was very attached to his mother. Now,
Yes.
in our culture, when mothers look after their children well, for children, their mothers are their gods, you know. And for Sushant, his mother had a very special place in his heart. And whenever I go through pictures of him and his mother, I feel very sad, because I know I have a son. Sangeeta has a son. Anu has, and of course, your daughter is equal to her son, Nisha. So children are so important, and that bond will never, you can never cut that bond, because they will, if you've really brought them up well, they will not only be good citizens, but they will follow the same values and moral principles that you have taught them. Why do you think Sushant was a highly principled character? Because his mother brought him that way.
That's very true.
If just, sorry. Yes, Nisha.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
It's okay.
Nisha?
Carry on. Anu, carry on.
When Gia lost her life, and when a few others lost their lives so tragically, if maybe social media and was around, it wasn't then. If more voices were raised in unison,
Yeah,
maybe so many more lives would have been saved. So let us not step back now.
yeah,
We've already lost so many lives, and we just owe it to them. We owe it to their families. When I being a police, my father is no more, but being a police officer's daughter, I know what it takes to go to a police station and to fight case after case, going to the court, and it's a never ending it's just a never ending vicious cycle. And for Rabia ji and for Janvi Kukreja's mother and so many others, maybe Disha's parents have gone silent, I believe. Maybe they are unable to speak, maybe they don't know what to do, but at least those of us who can, we should.
yeah. See, in Disha's case, Disha has a brother as well. So
Yes.
perhaps if there are any threats, they want to protect the son, because they've
Yes,
lost
so I
already a
think,
daughter.
yeah, so I think all the more important that the system needs to be cleansed,
Yeah,
and as many voices that need to be to come up, they should.
yeah, yeah,
We should never think that it's too small to make a difference,
yeah.
because when
See,
their as you said, ROI goes down,
yeah,
then that's when they really get hit. So
absolutely.
let's hit them where it really matters,
Mhm.
because they care only about money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Also, remember one very important thing: whenever you are a success, there will be a million enemies to pull you down. They could be in the form of your relatives, they could be in the form of your friends, they could be in the form of society itself. And this is what happened to Sushant. Sushant was so good at what he did that he had many people who wanted to pull him down because they couldn't prove themselves as actors, or they couldn't show their talent the way he did, and he became a victim of that. And he was not going to toe the line of the underworld, which is to pay hafta, So that was also a part of it. So what did they do? They got a honey trap in. He knew that this girl was a honey trap. She tried to get him involved in shell companies, everything that the underworld wanted. When everything failed, the last resort was to eliminate him, which is what they did in the case of Jia, Sridevi, so many people. So this is something we have to fight. Without fighting, there will be no, there's no solution.
We have to fight, as you said, Meena, for every youngster out there who's hardworking and honest and who wants to make it in whichever industry.
Yes.
For every, independent, lady or adult who's, like you, as you said, Sangeeta, and you are filmmakers, for honest talent to come up and to be recognized. Right now, what's happening is it's less than mediocre, or rather absolutely missing talent that is being, propped up by PR. And, if our prime minister or the government has a dream about a new India, that's not going to happen by just dreaming. Justice should not just be done, but it should be seen to be done. So when youngsters see, and when the ecosystem sees that justice is going to be done, maybe then there will be a cleaner system. Because right now it appears you can get away with everything. But, let's try and see that they don't get away with it.
Yeah. See, if you look at Sangeeta is based abroad, Nisha is based abroad. But all of us have got together because the feeling, that emotion is the same. We cannot forget the fact that somebody has been, brutally butchered. And for what? There was no crime on his part. And it was, they were trying to disguise it as a suicide, and that he was mentally depressed. And many people were playing the same game. Politicians initially, when the news of his death came, politicians were saying, so sad, he decided to give up. How do you know he decided to give up? In a second, you decided that he decided to give up just because the police said, it is a suicide. So these are the things that have been busted. All the lies, everything right from the start, the way they covered up all the evidence. So when the CBI came, they had very little to follow up on. But after that, CBI got enough from the public. Everybody started contributing proof to what happened. Now the CBI has absolutely no reason not to give us what they've been investigating. And this has reached the limit. Public are angry. How long can you keep on waiting for this? So people are requesting the sisters to approach the Supreme Court and pull up the CBI. That's not being done. So we've done our part. All of us have done our part. Let us see what is the result of this. So thank you, Sangeeta, Nisha, and Anu for joining us. And thank you all the others who also joined us. It's so important that you made this day very special for a man who left not only his memory, but his principles, and the fact that we are forced to clean Bollywood, and that we will make Bollywood go down on their knees till they cleanse the system.
I will end with just one.
Please, last words from all of you. Yeah.
Yes, I'll just take a second to say that this quote always stays with me, that yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. So let us hope.
Translate that, Anu, for others who don't have.
What I have understood, I am not a scholar, but what I have understood is that every time there is injustice and every time there is adharma in this world, then I will come in some form to ensure that dharma is reinstated. Yeah. Tadatmanam srij. At least that is my understanding.
Yeah, absolutely. Sangeeta, your last words on this?
How do I top that? What Anu just said, it just wraps up everything beautifully. I just say, well, stick together, and we are tiny and but mighty, and keep making that dent, keep making a difference. Personally, for me, Sushant has made a huge impact on my life in innumerable ways, all for the better. So I will keep doing this for him. I will keep fighting for him in whatever capacity I can. And more power to you, Minaji, and Candid Meena.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Nisha?
So I think I owe it to Sushant to have known so much about Bollywood, because I was one person who really was blissfully unaware of Bollywood, and half the people who are walking around, I wouldn't know their names. But now, having gone back and seen, I would say in that entire Bollywood, he is the only star, actually speaking, who was multifaceted, who has the looks, the height, the voice, the dance, everything. No wonder they were so jealous of him.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's
So
so
well said.
unfair. It's so unfair. The soul connect, like for a person like me, I'm a grandmother, and like I didn't know anything, but when I saw what is the soul connect, what is the divine soul, this is what I keep asking myself.
Yeah.
How did he manage to connect so many people who would stay together for, it's going to be almost 1 year 7 months, if I'm not wrong,
Yes, yes.
and we're all in together. Like there was like a small joke.
Yeah.
My grandson is 4 years old. Whenever he runs around, and when I don't want him to fall somewhere, I would tell him, be careful, be careful. You don't don't get any scars on your face.
On your face,
I
yeah.
want you to enroll in Bollywood. Before I used
Yeah,
to say, now I tell, I'll take you to Alaska and you play. Go.
yeah, you cannot, yeah.
They are not
True.
going anywhere near.
Yeah.
That's the lousiest.
Same thing, Nisha, same thing, see what happened to the two models in Kerala, Miss
Yeah,
Kerala,
yeah.
after this gruesome death, I was watching videos where the next Miss Kerala's are being groomed. And I said, for what are you being groomed?
Mm.
Are you being groomed to enter this world of drugs and murder that is there in Kerala and some other cosmopolitan cities like Mumbai? So please don't do that. I would really wish the young girls and boys, please look for other vocations. Do not go into this world because they are not clean, and they want to just use your youth and your beauty, for very nefarious activities. So
Yeah.
please do not get into these lines. That is something I would advise most youngsters.
Yes.
Very true.
Yeah. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Minaji.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
for the
Good
wonderful
night.
session. Yeah,
Thank you.
Sangeeta, Nisha, Anu, and all the viewers who have joined me today. Thank you so much for making this day very special. And we will continue our fight till we get justice for not only Sushant, Jia, Jhanvi, and Disha. So thank you, ladies, and good night. And I'll
Good
see you
night.
Good
tomorrow.
night.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Namaste.
Thank you so
Good
much.
night.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.